movie. And this week's movie is Spider-Man Far From Home. I'm Mickey.
I'm Luke. Eli.
You're Eli, okay. So, needless to say, spoiler alert.
Yes.
Needless to say, the movie is awesome.
Yes.
But needless to say also, some of the stuff we're going to be talking about, spoiler alert. Y'all ready?
Yes.
So, this is the 23rd movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it is the final movie of Phase 3. So, what did y'all see that connected it into Phase 3?
Well, they talked about the 5-year jump.
What's the 5-year jump?
Like whenever Thanos snapped and everyone faded.
Everyone faded, and so the world kept going, right?
Yeah.
The world kept going, so then when they brought everybody back, it's 5 years difference. So when Peter comes back, MJ, Ned, Flash, all 5 years older than him?
No, they all went away.
Also, we're lucky the casting got everybody in the cast got snapped.
Yeah.
Even Aunt May, she's still younger than she's supposed to be. Right?
Is it weird how she gets younger each movie she's in?
That's a little weird how she gets younger each movie.
Yeah. And so does the Spider-Man.
Yeah, Tom Holland is younger now.
Yeah.
Well, the first movie, Tobey Maguire started, he was in high school. So, what else was significant as a outcome of Avengers Endgame? Yeah.
Iron Man has died.
Iron Man is dead, yeah. Well, not only that, but there's a high school memory montage of people who have died because of Endgame.
But I think
And they included Cap too, didn't they?
Yeah, so did he die of old age?
Hey, I don't think he died of old age. I just don't think everybody in the world knows about old Steve hanging around. I think he's kind of, incognito. Nobody knows he's there.
Yeah.
Yeah? So, Iron Man's death obviously hit Peter hard.
Yeah.
He
was like a father to him.
was like a father figure to him.
It's like a slap in
He's
the
essentially the Uncle Ben role, but I guess we don't talk about that. Right?
That's already happened.
That's already happened? All right. But yeah, he's obviously in mourning, and that is significant throughout the movie, and also leads towards the motives of the villain of
Yeah.
the movie, right? Or villains of the movie.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. What do we think of him as Spider-Man / Peter Parker?
Best one I've ever seen.
Best one you've seen?
Especially since he's part of MCU. The other ones were just Sony.
They're just Sony. Oh, well, they were pretty good.
Except for Spider-Verse. That was awesome.
Into the Spider-Verse.
Spider-Man
Yeah.
3.
Huh?
The Sandman.
Spider-Man 3
Sandman.
is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Spider-Man 3?
Old one.
Yeah, the Sam Raimi one, Spider-Man 3 was odd. The dance scene, yeah. But so y'all think Tom Holland is the best Spider-Man?
Yes.
So Tobey Maguire was a little too broody
Yeah.
to be
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, cause Peter is shy and he's kind of broody.
And
But when he becomes Spider-Man, he puts the mask on, he gets a level of confidence that he doesn't normally have. So he's funny, he's witty, he's confident, right?
Yeah. And Andrew, he was just too cool for Spider-Man.
Too cool, yes. Too cool for Peter.
Yeah.
He was kind of really good
Yeah, as
as
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
But
And
Andrew,
Toby was pretty good as Peter.
yeah.
This guy's good at both.
Yeah. In the first Andrew movie, his suit looked weird.
Yeah.
A little
They
weird.
fixed it. They fixed
Yeah.
it a lot for Amazing Part 2, right?
Yeah.
But then they got Electro and Toby didn't fix that.
It wasn't Hobgoblin, it was Green Goblin 2.
Yeah. Hobgoblin kinda sorta appeared in Spider-Man 3 and Amazing Spider-Man 2, right? Kinda sorta. But not really. Right?
Yeah.
Because he's not Hobgoblin, he's Harry
Goblin 2.
Osborn, which in the comics is Green Goblin 2. because he was Green Goblin while Norman was presumed dead. But Hobgoblin is a guy named Ned Leeds. Guess we'll talk more about that in a
I
second.
never
huh?
knew his real name.
I guess, do you know who Ned Leeds is in these movies?
Who?
Well, we'll talk about that in a second. Okay.
His.
What? Who knows? So, all right. Well, we like Tom Holland. What about Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio?
He was really good.
He was really good.
He really fit the part.
And I love that they included the fishbowl. It wouldn't have been right if they didn't have the fishbowl head,
Yeah, I like.
right?
Listen, he did a really good jerk.
He was a good jerk, but
He was a good, nice person.
there's a big spoiler because for the first half of the movie you think he's a good guy, right?
Yeah, and then he.
So he, speaking of people who are taking a role for Peter, he was kind of like Peter's big brother. He was giving him love advice, all kinds of stuff, right?
Right.
Y'all know love advice?
No, we don't.
No? Okay. So he was giving him love advice. He was like his big brother, right? Now, here's the question that I don't know if y'all have really thought about. Now, you know he had an agenda to get, do you remember what was he getting from Peter?
The glasses.
And glasses. What did he get? What did those glasses give him?
Like,
Complete control
Yeah.
of his special effect.
yes.
Of all of Tony Stark's stuff, pretty much, right?
He turned against Tony Stark because Tony Stark called him his invention, Barf.
I remember that.
He named it Barf.
Yeah.
He named it stood for something, but he named it Barf and
Civil
pretty much
War.
made him and his invention a joke. So Mysterio's whole motives in the movie are integrated with Iron Man,
Yeah.
right? Speaking of, a lot of Tom Holland's Spider-Man is, his origins are integrated with Iron Man. I love it. I love how they did that. It really is good. And it plays well in the MCU, but in the comics, Spider-Man went 30 years without even really being an Avenger or more. So that if there's one negative about the way they did that, is that it kind of took Spider-Man's solo act and threw it out the window, because he pretty much got to where he is because Iron Man helped him, right?
Yeah.
He'd still be running around in the sweatshirt thing, if not, right? And so all of all of Mysterio's motives are linked to Iron Man, and his second command
Worked for Ironmonger.
worked for Ironmonger. What is it? Obadiah Stane. Yeah, Jeff Bridges. And that whole interaction with Ironmonger and Iron Man left a bad taste in his mouth, which let him team up with Mysterio to really run the fake illusions that they run through this movie.
Right.
And coincidentally, that dude is from Christmas Story. He's Ralphie, right?
Yeah.
So my question is, since we know now after the movie that his goal was to get in good with Peter to get the glasses, do you think was all the nice guy big brother act, was all of it fake, or do you think he was a nice guy, just had a bad agenda?
Second one.
Yeah.
He didn't want to hurt Peter. He already said that in the movie.
Mhm.
But when Peter figured out he was a little bad,
And it's too
he
late.
had to.
Yeah.
Too late. Trying.
So that's what I think. I think Jake Gyllenhaal did a good job because he was a nice guy. He just had bad motives.
That train looked excruciatingly painful.
That what?
That train.
Oh. Well, what do you mean? Tell me about the train.
He illusioned him to where he backed up onto a train rail, and he got hit by a train. Illusion is right there. He's backing up right there, and he gets hit by a train.
A real train, not an illusion
Actually,
train,
no.
right?
The time he got pushed into the train area is whenever he faked being Nick Fury, and Nick.
Oh, was that one?
Yeah.
So there were a couple of fight scenes where, I mean, you as the audience didn't really understand what was happening.
No.
Because Peter is going through illusion after illusion after illusion, and so nothing's real. So while watching it, we didn't know what was real.
Right.
That really connects to how the fight scenes between Spider-Man and Mysterio are in the comics, because they can be, comics being drawn can be really crazy and elaborate and I don't know, fantastical. So being able to bring that to the movie so well was great to see. Didn't y'all think?
Yeah, they also mentioned the multiverse.
He lied. He lied about
lied
the multiverse.
about
Though.
that.
We're going to find out about the multiverse in WandaVision and Doctor Strange Part 2 next year. But he lied about, or in 2 years for Doctor Strange.
Or did he?
He definitely wasn't from the multiverse. So in the comic books, Mysterio is an illusionist.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
he's a
So
special effects man.
Yeah.
He's a special effects man. So he robs and steals and does all the bad stuff through use of illusions. And the way he did that in this movie is he had a whole production crew. He's like a director of a movie, telling them, he had one writing backstories to the villains they were creating. He had some, drawing things out, what they're supposed to look like. Other ones programming the drones, because he was using drones to make his monsters, right? But they were programming the drones to shoot here, do this, that, just to make it look like a real, true battle, right? But none of it was real.
Yeah, he was like a distractor.
Director?
Yeah, director, but very threatening.
Yeah, he did threaten his crew a couple times, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, he did.
Yeah, you never know.
But he was awesome.
Maybe some of Hollywood's directors are threatening. So who were the monsters?
Oh, there was like a
Hydra Man type person. And
Yeah.
Magnum. What's his name? Magnum.
Molten Man?
Molten Man, Sandman, and Hydra Man. But they weren't really people.
They were fake.
Yeah, and this weird ear dude.
Yeah, they were like elementals, but
Yeah. And then at the end where they all came together as one.
combined into one. But they weren't real. It was
Yeah.
when you're watching the previews, you think that, oh, here we're gonna have another. Sandman is gonna be in another movie. He wasn't. Hydra Man's finally gonna be in a movie. He wasn't. Multi Man's gonna be in a movie. He wasn't. Right? So what about the humor of the movie? What did y'all think of the humor? Was there anything that stuck out to you that you really liked?
Night Monkey.
Night Monkey, yeah.
His buddy, apparently his name is about hobgoblins, but
Well,
Yeah, we don't talk about that yet.
not yet. Yeah, we're gonna talk
He
about
might be in
that.
Spider-Man 3.
We're gonna talk about that.
I like
Spider-Man Run From Home.
Night Monkey, he really got made fun of because of the Night Monkey thing, right?
Yeah.
Who called him Night Monkey? Where did that even
his
come
buddy.
from? Ned called him that, but the newspapers picked it up and kind of made fun of it a little bit, right? So the guy that plays Ned Leeds is named Jacob Batalon. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. But he's usually a good comic relief too,
Sounds
right?
like a sci-fi name.
It does.
Not Batalon, maybe. But he's usually good for comic relief too, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about his name. His name's Ned Leeds.
Yeah.
Ned Leeds in the comic books
It's
is
Hobgoblin.
Hobgoblin, the real
But
Hobgoblin.
Is he going to be in part 3, which I want to call Spider-Man Run From Home?
I don't know. That would be a good name of the movie.
You gotta
though.
explain
Because
that.
they gotta keep having home. We will. They gotta keep having home. I guess now at this point they've got a pattern. So
Homecoming, Far From Home?
yeah. So Run From Home would be a good one.
Yeah.
So the other thing that I thought really brought out the comic relief in this movie was Brad.
Oh,
Do y'all remember who Brad was?
yeah.
You don't.
His teacher.
No, his teachers were very much comic relief. They were
Do
goofy.
you not remember who Brad is? The person that liked MJ.
Brad was the kid who apparently, let's say, what are they?
Part of.
They're probably
Flash.
17, 18 in the movie.
Yeah.
So in Peter's world, this kid would be 12, 13, but he had a 5-year jump.
Flip.
So now he's old enough to be competition for love interest MJ,
Yeah.
right?
It's kind of strange though.
So there were a couple of scenes where Brad thinks he saw Peter talking to some other girl, so he was gonna tell it all to MJ, and Peter does some pretty funny things to stop that, right?
Yes.
Almost kills him. Almost kills the whole field trip, doesn't it? Because in the movie they're on a field trip to Europe.
Yes. Brad is a target.
Brad is a target, right? All right. Well, what about casting? So we already talked about him as Hobgoblin. Well, so they named him Ned Leeds. That can't be a coincidence. Ned Leeds is Hobgoblin.
Right.
Now, this Ned has been nothing but comic relief
And friends with Peter.
and friends with Peter.
But that can
So, at this point, do you think they could really
change
him into a villain?
It
But
would
we
be
don't-
awesome
A
if they-
believable villain?
It would be awesome if they did, because it was like mic drop. He's Ned Leeds.
But he's too nice. He's played way too nice.
Part 2, it would make sense with him and Craven the Hunter.
Part 3?
Part 3.
Yeah.
Part 3.
Well, what about Aunt May?
Oh yeah. Even though she.
I've always liked Aunt May, and I think she still is as pretty as ever. But
Even though
that's
she
not the
gets
normal
younger.
Aunt May that Peter has. She's usually
Younger.
little old white-haired lady.
Like the Tobey Maguire, she was.
She was perfect, little old
Yeah.
white-haired lady.
But then she got a little younger and she had brown hair. And then she got very younger, had the brown hair,
And
and
is dating, like flirting with
Happy Hogan.
Tony, or he was flirting with her at least.
Yeah.
Dating Happy Hogan. It's not the normal Aunt May. So the MCU Spider-Man movies have caught a little flack for some of their casting. Aunt May being one of them.
Yeah.
Marissa Tomei. Everybody's, oh, she's way too young. And Flash, the guy they picked, Tony Revolori to play Flash, and he's also comic relief. He's a little smart butt, just says little sarcastic things all the time, sometimes bad words. But he's not buff, is he?
No, he's not.
Like,
So, do you think he could be the high school football star that's obnoxious to everybody and then grows up to become Agent Venom?
I was about that.
I don't know if Tony could do that, but I mean, you never know. He could.
You just called him Tony.
Tony Revolori is his name,
Oh, his name, not the comic book name.
not
Okay.
Tony Stark.
Yeah.
that's very
So there was a guy in the Twilight movies that in the first movie was not that big, but when it came time for him to be a werewolf, he trained Taylor Lautner. He trained, became a big guy. So I guess the guy playing Flash could do that.
Wait, I have something to say real quick. Zendaya as MJ, which it really doesn't.
So
Cause
I
the
like
MJ
her.
thing.
I like
Yeah.
her a lot.
Yeah, as
But
MJ.
I don't know why they didn't name her Mary Jane. So it was like a weird, and they're
Slap in the face.
yeah,
Michelle.
it's a slap on the face. It's a slap on the face, and there's
Michelle Jenkins.
a lot.
I don't know if it was Jenkins,
But Michelle.
Yeah.
But so a lot of people on the internet are complaining of her being miscast. I like her as MJ. My
Yeah.
problem is that they didn't just let her be MJ. They let her be Michelle as a little trick to audience, little subvert our expectations and say, oh, she's not Mary Jane, she's Michelle. And then at the very end, she says, my friends call me MJ.
even though.
Well, I've read interviews with Kevin, I think Feige, who said, well, we could still have a Mary Jane later.
Hoopla!
But why would you have two characters named MJ?
Right.
I think they've kind of sealed the deal. They've got this MJ. This is the MJ they're gonna have.
No, they're not
So
gonna
why
get.
couldn't?
No, they're not gonna get an MJ to say the line.
What line?
Face it, Tiger.
You hit the jackpot.
Yeah, but one of the comics, didn't she say you won the lottery?
No,
I thought she
you hit
said
the
that
jackpot.
once. I thought she said that once.
Mm-mm.
Didn't she?
So
No?
obviously you guys think the same thing, that we've got one MJ. We're gonna only have one MJ. So why couldn't Zendaya just be Mary Jane? Right? I mean, they keep her. She's shy, and Mary Jane, the character, is more boisterous. She's out there. She's loud, and this one's quiet and shy, and she doesn't dress like a supermodel, but Zendaya could be a supermodel, so why not? They could have this character, and she could just become a model later. I don't know, but as long as she was Mary Jane, I think nobody would have had a complaint.
No.
But instead, she's fake MJ, and who knows?
Sadness.
Huh?
Sadness.
Sadness.
Wait, is Gwen Stacy gonna be in the movies though?
Who knows? Maybe we'll get Spider-Gwen.
Ooh, and Miles Morales.
I
and
want
all
them
that.
to do the multiverse.
Well, they are going to do the multiverse in Doctor Strange Part 2.
I know.
So, what about the Easter eggs in the movies? Of this movie? How many do y'all know of? Y'all pointed one out to me while we were watching it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Before the world knew that Hydra Man was fake, they told of a guy who worked for the water system and basically was the story of Hydra Man.
Or was that the?
Was that the story that they wrote for him?
Was that fake?
It was definitely fake. But are you saying if it was the story that Mysterio's crew wrote? Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Also, at the end of the movie, when they get back to New York, there's a sign, and it's got like subway symbols for, one, and then it connects to the next line, and it has a 2, and then the line connects to the 3, and then a line connects to question mark. Because at that time, we didn't know what Phase 4 was.
Oh yeah.
Also, when they're fighting Hydra Man, there's a boat floating down the canal, because I think they were in Venice at the time, and it has ASM 212 on it. Amazing Spider-Man issue 212. That was the first appearance
Of
of
Hydra Man.
Hydra Man. Yes.
That's awesome.
When they're fighting Molten Man, there's a license plate on a car that says SCP-2685. September 26, 1985, the issue came out that it was the first appearance of
Molten Man.
And Peter Parker's passport gave his birthday, he's a Leo like me, gave his birthday as August 10th. Do you know what that is?
What?
August 10th is the day,
Sandman?
nope, it's the day that Amazing Fantasy number 15, the first appearance of Spider-Man, came out in 1963.
What was the main thing? Fantasy.
Amazing Fantasy was just the comic series that introduced Spider-Man. You know the image where he's like swinging from building to building and he's holding that girl? That's Amazing Fantasy number 15. And it came out on August 10th, 1963. So his birthday is August 10th.
That's cool.
And the last one, because there has not been any mention in the MCU of Uncle Ben, has there?
No.
But the briefcase that Peter snags and starts packing to go on the field trip to Europe has engraved, I don't know, it has the initials B, I think FP, Ben Parker. So he's got his uncle's briefcase at least.
Yeah.
Alright, what about the after credit scenes? What gets revealed in the after credit scene?
Okay, so Mysterio is recording when Spider-Man basically kills him and pins it all on Spider-Man and says that he's bad. And then he sends it in to am I saying that?
J. Jonah Jameson.
And then he puts it on the news, on the New York screens, on the buildings. And then everybody in all of New York sees it. And then it cuts the bad word. Like in the back.
Oh, cuts to a bad word,
Yeah.
just like Josiah.
It all said he was Peter Parker, and that's why earlier I said Craven the Hunter, since
Well,
he could hunt them down.
Hold that thought. So, first of all, how awesome is it that he got the same J. Jonah Jameson guy, J.K. Simmons?
From all
From
the
the
movies.
first movies, yeah.
He
'Cause I don't
looks
think they could cast a better dude as him.
He looks exactly. That's like
Like
scoring
they pulled
that.
him out of the comic books and said, "This is him."
It's like Harry Potter.
Yeah, Harry Potter looks just like the guy from the books.
Tony Stark.
So J. Jonah Jameson revealed on the news to the world
He
that
is
Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and that he's, according to the videos that Mysterio sent in, a murderer, a villain.
So
right?
wait, what I'm thinking is, does Ned actually believe he's a murderer and doesn't like him and turns into Hobgoblin.
Surely not. We'll have to find out.
Surely not. But
All right. What was the
Could
other
be
after
wrong.
credit scene?
Oh,
Nick Fury was a scroll.
It wasn't Nick Fury the whole time, or Maria Hill. There were scrolls, and Nick Fury was sitting up there in a scroll station.
A scroll
In
spaceship
Space.
on vacation.
When are we gonna get to see the bad scrolls? I want to see the bad scrolls.
I'd like to see bad scrolls too. Obviously, the ones that were helping Nick go on vacation were the ones from Captain Marvel, and they were good. So we can assume that there's some bad scrolls somewhere. There needs to be some bad scrolls somewhere because the scrolls
Fantastic
are,
Four's coming out.
hopefully there'll be some bad scrolls in that, or in Captain Marvel too. Who knows? But scrolls do be bad at some point because
Galactus and Kane.
They need to do Galactus because they messed him up. And
Galactus is supposed to be.
Sony has messed some stuff up.
That was Fox.
That was Fox.
But
We need Galactus and
Galactus
Kane.
is supposed to be coming, and
And
now that Thanos is gone, Galactus is going to be our next big bad.
I want to see that.
Kane and all of his
His different personalities.
That and
Galactus
Galactus'
is
heralds. Yeah.
Kang's not one of those.
I know, but
Galactus
Kane
Heralds
is.
should be their own movie, and at the end of the Galactus Heralds movie, they show an after credit with Galactus, and then
And then the next, well, I think they'll strand Galactus out like they did Thanos. Remember, Thanos was all the way back in Avengers 1.
yeah.
But I feel like Fantastic Four in the MCU should be them fighting Kane.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Kang was introduced in Fantastic Four,
Yeah.
but he's more of an Avengers bad guy, so
Yeah.
I'm hoping to see him there eventually.
Yeah.
So,
And X-Men's coming out.
You're right.
so
you're
besides, you kind of already jumped to some of this, but what do y'all think's coming next?
Crazy
Spider-Man's gonna get hunted.
So since they outed him as a villain and told his secret identity, probably he's going to be being chased in part 3. So if he's being chased or hunted, who better to come in and hunt him than Craven? So, because I mean, what other big Spider-Man villains haven't been shown in movies at this point? Carnage, but he's gonna be the villain in Venom. Venom 2. Molten Man, but he's not that big of a villain. Scorpion.
Hydro Man.
Hydra Man's a good one, but they kind of showed a variation of him in this.
And there's
Hobgoblin.
there's not a real MJ. So how are they gonna-
Scorpion was mentioned in
Homecoming.
Homecoming, but I don't know.
And
that
so
he's-
was Shocker.
Shocker was shown. Bokeem Woodbine played
Yeah.
it. But I don't think Scorpion can pull a movie of the big villains. The big villains of Spider-Man that haven't gotten something yet is Carnage, Craven, Morbius, but Morbius is getting his own movie with Sony. So really, this is the guy. This is the guy that needs to be the villain in part 3.
Yeah.
Do you think there's any?
Which I want to call Run From Home.
Run from home. Spider-Man, run from home.
Yeah.
Do you think there's gonna be any more Spider-Man movies after that?
Supposedly, Tom Holland has signed on for many movies, but that's going to include, like, because he was in Infinity War, he was in Endgame, he was in Civil War, so he's already been in 5 movies. So each one of those is going to count towards his total. So anyway, Spider-Man: Far From Home. Do we like it?
Yes.
Yes! He's my favorite character in Marvel.
My favorite character is Cap. Who's your favorite?
I can't choose. It's between Iron Man and Captain America.
Favorite Marvel
Civil
character?
War.
DC's a whole nother story.
Whoopsie.
Civil War in your mind.
So, anyway, this week's movie, Spider-Man: Far From Home. Thanks for watching.